Hey, what's up, everybody? How are you? Happy, let's see, what would this be called, actually? Let me use this and see if I can get this to go. There we go. There we go. Down. Man, got sounds going all over the place. What's up, everybody? Happy, like, what would this be called? Mm, Happy mid New Year, just before New Year, well, whatever it's called. What's up, fam? I am here again one more week. So happy to be with y'all. Hope you had an amazing, amazing Christmas with your family and friends. Just hope it was a great time of food and fun and fellowship. We really enjoyed ourselves, getting over cold in our house, but we're still able to enjoy our holiday. And so tonight, my name's Tony Gilmore. For those of you may not know, I am a pastor, a coach, a leader, and I'm the CEO of Level Up Coaching, which is my coaching business. And when I started doing this, I've been coaching now. From a business standpoint for since 2019. But honestly, I've been a coach forever, coaching teams, coaching in organizations, and so this is just a part of my life. And as I was getting ready to get my plans together for 2024, um, honestly start thinking about you all and start thinking about all the people who get to this point in the year and are a little frustrated and aggravated about how this year is gone. And so I decided, you know what? Let me share some of my stuff and I can help you get ready for 2024. I know a lot of people are like, you know what? I'll dive in next week when it all starts. And you know what? I get that. Nothing wrong with that. A lot of people are enjoying this time off. For me, I don't wanna think of getting started in 2024 as if it's like starting something new. I'm just really adding to the plan that's already there, and so I love getting started just a little early, and, I wanted to give you that opportunity. And so tonight is for my entrepreneurs, for my Christians who say, "You know what?" Uh, Leaders, whether it's business, church, wherever you are in the marketplace, um, I just wanted to give you some things that I think could really help you, have a path to more in 2024. And, as you jump into the room, do me a favor, say what's up, give me your name, tell me where you're from. I would love for this to be a conversation because later on, I got a couple of questions that I would love for you to chime in and answer after I'm through with tonight's talk. But um, man, I just want to begin tonight by saying whatever 2023 was for you, I want you to celebrate that you made it. Like, if it was stressful, if it was difficult, if it was hard, whatever 2023 represented for you, I want you to celebrate. You are still here. You survived. You are ready to go into the next year and that what the enemy meant to destroy you, God flipping it around for your good, even if you can't see it yet. I just know that about our God. And so I want to encourage you with that. But tonight, I really want to talk to you about the path to more in 2024 and how to position yourself for increase, to position yourself for the next level. Man, listen, I'm seeing all types of posts on Instagram and Facebook, Snapchat, all over, saying, "You know what? There are this amount of days left in 2023, God can still do it." Or people saying, they're declaring that 2024 means A and it means B or means C. And I wanna come tonight with balance that 2024 can be your year for more, but you're gonna have to participate in it, and there are some things that you're going to have to submit to God and allow God to do His work, but I do believe that as we dive in and do our part, we put ourselves in position for God to do something significant in the coming year. I call it being blessable. That when I walk out God's plan and do His stuff, that I make my life blessable, that He's able to do things. And the real talk is that many of us go into the next year with a plan. And I wanna give They go into the next year and they have a plan or resolution. Only 92%, well, let me say this, only 8% will follow through on that plan. 92% will quit. That's right. 92% will quit and give up before they even get there. And the question is why? Why do we quit before we get to what we're believing for what we're really wanting to see God do? And there's this quote by Mike Tyson. Yes, the great theologian Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson makes this statement: "Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face." Man, when I read that, I was like, "Wow, that is the truth." Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. And his statement is, people came in to fight him, they would talk about all of these things they could do, but I think real talk, once he hit him in the jaw, their plan went out the window. And for a lot of us in this life, that's what happens with us. We create the plan, we create the vision, we create the thing that we wanna see done, but at the end of the day, when life hits, what happens with the plan? And tonight, I wanna help you by letting you giving you, like, this understanding of, these 3 reasons why people don't succeed in keeping their plans when they go into the next year. And then we're gonna talk about ways to overcome those. Because here's the real talk, like, in every year, we're gonna get punched in the mouth. And what that means is the enemy is gonna try to do something stupid. People are gonna be people. Plans are gonna be difficult, and we will find ourselves in moments and situations where our best plans just don't seem to be working out. And we've gotta have some things in us that keeps us going when those plans get jacked up. Let me give you this first thing that happens while we don't follow through, and it's this: we focus on what, but never think about how. We focus on what, but never think about how. What does that say? That means I'm focused on the fact that I want a better job. I want to have financial increase. I want a better marriage. I wanna be a better parent. I wanna have a better business. And yet, we don't always think about strategically what does that look like. We come up with different things maybe, but we never really think through the plan. We just think about the result that we want to see at the end of that plan, and what ends up happening is that when the plan falls apart, we didn't have an underlying system, a strategy to help that plan continue to move forward when things didn't go the way we wanted them to go. See, here's a thought that I wanna share with you. People who have successful marriages have success or they have great systems. People who are great parents have great systems. People who have profitable businesses have great systems. People who grow spiritually have great systems. What are the systems? The systems for a person who grows spiritually is that they have a rhythm of Bible reading and fasting and prayer. The person who wants a great marriage, they have a rhythm of date nights and love notes and just kind words that are said to one another. They make a rhythm of doing things a certain way, and that rhythm builds into the success of that thing. But a lot of us, we don't build those habits. We go off of what we feel, and we get stuck because we focus on what, but not really thinking about the how. The second thing that I wanna drop with you is this as to why we don't follow through. We don't see results fast enough. And I think when you think about the people, that statement that I gave you with 8% of people keep going with a goal for the rest of the year, that statement I gave you, it says that 92% of the people who make resolutions quit by Valentine's Day. What does that say to me? Since they didn't see quick progress in a month and a half, they're like, "This plan is not working." And the truth is, the plans have to be in place and they have to have time to develop and grow. When you create your plan, a lot of times you're planting seeds. You're a plower in the beginning, and you're breaking up fallow ground, and that ground is being broken so that the seeds that are planted later on will bring forth a harvest. The problem is most of us quit during the plow. Most of us quit right in the middle of the time where we are making the most progress, and it's not seen. And because we can't see it, we give up on it and we quit right before we see breakthrough. I love this thought. It's like we walk on the treadmill 3 times a week, but we gain 2 pounds because we weren't eating right. We read the Bible all week long, but our kids are acting up. We don't buy coffee all month, and we save $100, but that's only a drop in the bucket on that $10,000 credit card. And we think, "Man, this isn't working, it isn't moving fast enough." But I wanna tell you this tonight, your small decisions have big results attached to them when they are consistent and you continue to go even when you can't see the progress that you wanna see. And so maybe, just maybe, this year, whatever plan you make lasts longer than Valentine's Day. You know, I love this statement, from the movie, Creed. It's Creed 1, and Rocky is talking to Creed in the corner as he is fighting, one of his biggest opponents towards the end of the movie, and he makes this statement. He says, "Listen, don't go into this thing trying to win the fight in the first round." He said, "Take it one step at a time, one punch at a time, one round at a time." One step at a time, one punch at a time, one round at a time. And I wanna submit to you tonight that maybe tonight you take it one choice at a time, one act at a time, one day at a time. One choice, one act, one day, and then allow the work to take place. It happens with consistent effort. I'll tell you this, it takes, and many people say it takes 21 days to begin a new habit. It actually takes around 21 days to begin to break a new habit. It takes 3 cycles of 21 days to have a new habit solidified. So that means if you want a new habit, it's going to take 63 days to have that new habit kick in. So therefore, if you quit before Valentine's Day, you've only made it through a cycle and a half. You can't get frustrated. The challenge in our culture, and I'm gonna be real with you, 'cause I struggle with this too, is we just see so many quick hitters, overnight success, that it's like we just want it like that. Can I tell you for real, those overnight success stories, they're anomalies. Honestly, when I look at some of the movies that I see today, me and my wife, Angie, we were looking at a movie the other night, and I'm like, "Man, I didn't know that dude was in that movie." It was The Preacher's Wife. We were watching The Preacher's Wife, and there was a guy who was in that movie that I came to know him in King of Queens later on with Kevin James, but he was in The Preacher's Wife. It had to be like 20 years ago or more, and I'm like, I did not know he was in that movie, yet he came to fame on, King of Queens, and this is what I wanna submit to you. See, we saw his come up, but we didn't get to see his work. His work was over time, and then the come up came. Can I submit to you today, don't quit too soon. Don't think that your results are gonna happen overnight. Just keep plowing, and the results will come. You know, I wanna do this for you too, right in the middle of tonight. I wanna offer a couple of things. So I have a free ebook, let me add this in. It is called Maximize Your Life, and it is a free ebook that I created about the 6 choices to a good life. So I'd love to offer this to you. This is a free offer, and all you have to do is go to my, actually, you know what? You can, go to my website, and here's my website. Add that back in. My website is TonyGilmore03.com. You can go to that website, and at the bottom, click and you will be able to download that free ebook. It is a great book to help you begin to make the right choices to lead you to the life that God has for you and the good life that He has in store for you. And so I just want to drop that in right in the middle. Now let's keep going. Here's the excuse me, still fighting this cold. Here is the third one. And this one, it may not seem like it's all that, but this is the one that's probably the most sinister. Is this is what happens that we pull this up. Boom, right there. We allow the enemy to distort our identity and sabotage our success. Now you're like, Pastor Tony, what does that mean? Coach Tony, I'm coach, I'm pastor, I'm all that. What does that mean? That means that a lot of times we make do goals and not who goals. What does that look like? It looks like it's not about what you're doing, it's about who you're becoming. Like if you say, listen, I want to be a better husband, I want to be a better father, I want to be a better leader. That is a who goal, not a do goal. So what do? I may do things that help me become that. But it's not just about that. And what the enemy wants you to do is he wants you to focus on your do's. What does that look like? You messed up last week. You said the wrong thing. You made the wrong choice. You didn't follow through on a promise. So what the enemy does is he attacks your character and says, "You're not worth anything." You say that you're a Christian, or you say that you're a business owner. You say that you're an entrepreneur, but what kind of entrepreneur would do that? Who would make a choice like that? And what he wants to do is he wants to beat you over the head so that you will doubt who you are and who God's created you to be. But I came to tell you tonight, you are a child of the living God. You are anointed for what God has placed in your hands to do. You are empowered to prosper. And that when you don't allow the enemy to beat you up over your mistakes, you actually get an opportunity to learn from your mistakes and grow. In this moment, he is trying to mess with who you are, and by messing with who you are, it impacts what you do. Real talk. An unhealthy identity creates unwise habits, and unwise habits create or reinforce an unhealthy identity. So the idea is this: who do you want to become? Who do you want to become? Because in who you want to become, that's when the actions follow. You're like, "I wanna be a strong Christian." So, no, you know what you do? You ask, "What do strong Christians do?" "I wanna be a great leader." So, you know what you do? What do great leaders do? I remember one day I was facing a situation at work, and I had to deal with a couple of people that honestly were pretty intimidating. And as I began to navigate this situation with them, I knew I had to have a courageous conversation. I was just not feeling like it at all, at all. But I said this one thing to myself, and it was clarifying. What would a strong leader do? Because I wanna be a strong leader. And you know what I did? I went in and did what strong leaders do. I had the courageous conversation with the people that I needed to, and I was able to correct the situation that needed to be corrected for their good. And here's the thing, you say, "I wanna be a man of God." But what does a man of God do? A man of God walks in integrity. A man of God keeps his word. A man of God honors his family. And you begin to say, because of who I want to become, these are my actions. I want to be a woman of God. I want to be a great mom. Well, what do great moms do? And you begin to do the things that great moms do, not because of what you want to do, but because of who you are. As a matter of fact, I learned to put it in this way. Since I am a child of God, I spend time with God. Since I am financially responsible, I take care of my finances. Since I am an overcomer, I will not be defeated by sickness or depression or the enemy's schemes. Because of who I am, this is what I do. And when you don't let the enemy rob you of your identity as a child of God and as being anointed to do what God has placed in your hands to do, you begin to walk in ways that reflect who you are. And this is what I found. Man, lean in. When you do that, you begin to make choices in line with that, and your life begins to bear the fruit of the choices that you make because of who you see yourself as being. Don't let the enemy rob you of that. And so those are the 3 reasons why people they just fall apart on their on what they do with their goals. They fall apart on their resolutions and the things that they wanna get accomplished in the next year, and so maybe you can go back in, listen to this again to recapture that. But now I wanna give you this thought that this is what successful people do. This is the mindset or this is what people do who do succeed in their goals. This guy, Darren Hardy, makes this statement. The biggest difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is that successful people are willing to do what unsuccessful people are not. Woo! Is it that simple, Darren? Is it that simple? That the biggest difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is that successful people are willing to do what unsuccessful people are not. And I want to drop these 3 gems on you that this is what successful people do, that unsuccessful people don't do. Number one, let's pull up number one. They understand your mindset must match your motivation. Successful people understand your mindset must match your motivation. See, successful people understand that it is not about my feelings. As a matter of fact, good evening, cuz it is not about my feelings. It is not about my circumstances. It is about the thing that God has placed in me to do. And when you can blow past feelings and focus on what you're supposed to be doing, when you get punched in the mouth, you just keep going. Does that mean you don't cry? Does that mean you don't take a moment to catch your breath? You do all of that, but you don't quit. You don't give up. The interesting thing is that many of us think that when difficulties come, that that's a sign that I'm doing something I am not supposed to be doing. Can I give you an alternative thought and a shift in your mindset that honestly, when difficulties come, you're right where you're supposed to be? Because there is an enemy that does not want you to succeed, does not want you to fulfill God's will, does not want you to be fulfilled or to live the life that God has created you to live. And so when your mindset matches your motivation, what ends up happening is you begin to think a certain way that does not allow what's happening around you or in your mind to rob you of where God wants you to go. Let me give you this thought on motivation. Motivation is having an incentive or a strong desire to do well, to succeed in a pursuit. So motivation is a strong desire, a strong feeling that pushes you forward. But when I change my mindset, it gives me more than a feeling. See, the Bible says in Proverbs 23 and 7, it says just like this. For as he thinks in his heart, so is he. For as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. That means your thinking determines how you see yourself and how far you're gonna go. And when your thinking is right, your feelings will come in line with your thinking. When your thinking is right, your feelings will begin to follow. See, I believe that right thinking leads to right choices, which lead to right results. That when I allow God to renew my mind, as it says in Romans 12 and 2, don't be conformed to this world, be ye transformed by the renewing of my mind. When my mind is transformed by God, I begin to think on God's level, and God is not bound by the things that humans are bound by. Hey, Miss Teresa, nah, nah. When I think on God's level, I can see the enemy for who he is. And when God is ready to move, the enemy will come in like a flood, but God lifts up a standard against him. But he can only lift it up if I allow him. And tonight, you need to get your mind right per the goals that God has had you to set for 2024, so that when you get punched in the mouth, and you know I'm saying it, I'm just gonna say it, not if, not if, but when the enemy tries to come. Because here's what the Bible says. It says that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. But here's the thing, he didn't say the weapon wouldn't be formed. So the weapon is formed, but it won't win, it won't prosper. So we gotta be ready when the weapon is formed to keep going, and that starts with the way that I think. The second thing that people who succeed in what God has for them is they understand this, and this is my favorite statement. I use it with my team and everybody. Everything is an experiment. Is that I can't be afraid of stepping out into something new because I'm afraid that I'm gonna fail. Can I drop this with you? This is a secret, so I'm a lean in. You can't tell anybody this. Where you are today is the sum total of the risk you did or didn't take yesterday. And if you're frustrated with your today, more of what you did yesterday will only yield more of the frustration you have today. Maybe, just maybe, for you to go to the next level that God has for you gotta step out and experiment into something new. I will tell you this, if I'm at least 51 to 60% certain that God has told me to do something, I'm taking a step. I'm taking a step in that direction. And listen, I don't always get it right. I'm human. I miss God. But here's what I've learned. The more times I seek to walk in obedience to God and take those steps, even when I miss it, I'm learning. My ears are being trained to hear his voice in a greater degree. And so tonight, experiment. If you sense that God is telling you to do something, take a step. Now listen, let me get this right. Don't go around quitting your job tomorrow or leaving everybody. Don't that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying, if you sense it is God, take a small step. And as you take that step, if you have peace, keep stepping. Even when there's a little turmoil, if there's peace in your soul and it lines up with the word of God, keep stepping. And what I found is on the other end of my steps, and I look behind me, I've taken 20 steps, and I didn't even realize I was as far along as I was. But you gotta be willing to experiment. I coach people, as a part of, my business, and when I'm coaching them, I take them into these cycles. As I do 8-week coaching, sometimes we do 16 weeks, and in that time, we go through cycles. And one of the things I challenge them to do on a regular basis is to step out into the unknown. Because here's the truth, if you're gonna go somewhere you've never gone, you will have to do something you've never done. And you hear me say it on a regular basis, you gotta lean into being uncomfortable, because on the other side of discomfort, I feel like God lands a lot of the time. And what I talk to the people that I coach about is like, "Come on, I'm right here with you. Review this thing on a 90-day cycle. See where God is, see what's happening, and then if you need to, make adjustments." Because when I'm willing to take a step and experiment something new, now I'm giving God an opportunity to shift my life and do something that I never even thought could happen. You know, if I love this statement as I was creating this. If my plan is to build a bi if my plan to build a business isn't working, then it's time to review the plan. It isn't time to quit if I feel like God told me to go. If my plan is to launch a church and it isn't working, it's just time to review the plan. It's not time to quit unless you know that God is saying don't do it. If you're trying to build your life and the thing you're trying to build your life with, or the person you're trying to build your life with, and it isn't necessarily working right now, maybe start with reviewing the plan. Then you can look at, okay, maybe I need to ditch this altogether. But I think many of us ditch those things too early because, as I said before, We didn't succeed fast enough, so we just get rid of it altogether. You know, there's a story about Tabasco sauce. Tabasco sauce is about 100 years old. I did not know that at all. It's about 100 years old. It was created back in 1868, so it's well over 100 years old, and about 100 they said about 125 years of their existence, they only had 1 flavor, you know, that red pepper flavor. That's the only flavor that they had. Well, in 1993, Tabasco said, "You know what? We've been doing the same thing for 125 years. That's a long time to do the same thing." But they've had a level of success, but they were beginning to fall behind. And so they decided in 1993 that they were gonna launch a green pepper sauce. That green pepper sauce took off so great that now they have 8 different flavors. They're still relevant in the market, and they were able to have a level of success that they would not have had if they continued to do the same old thing. Come on, don't go into 2024 trying to do the same old stuff. Man, here's the challenge I have for you. Here's the challenge. Pick one thing. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't overdo it. Pick one thing in the first quarter of 2024 that you're gonna try and just see how it works. Just one thing. Change your hair. Maybe change the way you dress a bit. Change the direction you go to work. Maybe change the way you interact daily. Maybe do a different Bible plan than the one you always do. Maybe do something different for your employees in the first quarter, but do something different for this reason, so you can get used to doing different things. And as you begin to see success in those things, you won't be afraid to. The last thing that I want to give you on this beautiful night between Christmas and New Year's as we get ready for 2024 is this: your systems determine your success. That doesn't sound very Christian, that doesn't sound very biblical, but if you know God and you've studied scripture, God is a systematic God. In the way he created the earth, he created the earth systematically. As a matter of fact, in Genesis, he said, "As long as the earth remains, there will be seed time and harvest, day and evening, winter." He went through the seasons. Those are the seasons, his systems of cultivating and growing the earth. God is a systematic God. And so it stands to reason that if we're gonna be successful, we gotta have the right systems in place. And we gotta have the right systems in place in our lives to help us build the right habits so that when we get punched in the mouth or the jaw or the chest, that we can keep going, that we can keep moving. You know, this year, earlier this year, my family got punched in the jaw. We sat down on New Year's Eve. We created a whole vision board. We had this whole plan going into 2023, and we had systems and all of this stuff set up. And 6 days in to 2023, we got punched in the jaw, and my wife had health. And in the middle of being punched in the jaw, man, we were scared, we cried, we did all of these things that are normal. But then there was something else that took place. We just kept going with the plan. With the plan that we could go with, we just kept moving forward. Here's the crazy part. We lost a part of our income. We spent time that we didn't have to spend in other places with rehab centers and all this stuff. But all we knew to do was when we could, get back to the plan. Here's the crazy part, and this is how great our God is, but also how great systems work, that because of the budget that my wife made, even though we lost her income, her budget, the system of how we handle our money still allowed us this year to end up with as much money as we would have had she worked, and she hasn't worked for 7 months full time. What happened? The system worked, and God worked with another system. We're tithers. We didn't change the tithe because our finances changed. We just kept working God's system of financial prosperity and financial sustainability by saying, "God, you are our source. So we're gonna keep tithing because we believe that you will take care of us." And we look at the end of this year, we were just talking about it a week ago. It's just crazy what he did. We didn't fall behind on one. We didn't this year, my coaching and speaking, business/ministry made more money than it had in all the years before, and we just saw something that when God gives you a plan, you could get punched in the mouth, but if you get up and keep working it, um, he'll do the work. He'll do the work. And so tonight, I just wanna encourage you, 'cause some of y'all got punched in the mouth. Maybe at the beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of the year. And I want to encourage you tonight that spend this week getting with God, creating the plan, and then begin to work the plan that God is giving you. And when difficulties come, build the systems into your life that allow you to still, man, you may be limping for a moment, but keep working the plan. You may be hurting, but keep working the plan. You may be down to whatever, keep working the plan. Why? Because the God who gave you the plan is working it if you still work it. And here it's a mind-blowing thought that I had, is that when I was creating the plan, he knew I was gonna get punched. And when I created the plan, he knew I was gonna get punched. He still told me to create it. And because of his faithfulness, he was able to do better with the plan than I thought I could do. So as we go into this coming year, listen, I don't know what 2024 holds, but I know who holds 2024. And I just want to encourage you, man, create the plan. Build the systems into your life. If you wanna be a better Christian, you wanna be a better Christ follower, then build a system of Bible reading and fasting and prayer and going to church in person. If you wanna be a better husband, then schedule date nights and times with your wife where you're taking her out and do it as a rhythm once every 2 weeks or once a week, whatever works for you. Man, if you wanna be a better business owner, man, make your mind up to read more books, spend more time going to lunch with other business owners to learn their best practices. Man, get a coach. If you wanna be better, getting a coach helps as well. That's shameless plug, but I just thought I would throw that in. But I just wanna encourage you tonight. There is more in 2024. There is a path to more in 2024, but it starts with the systems and the habits that you put in place, and I will close with this quote, and then we'll close the talk with this quote, and then I have a question for you. Let me find it. I love this quote. It's a book that really impacted my life called Atomic Habits by James Clear, and it says, "You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems." And so, in these last few moments together, those of you that are here, I wanna ask you a question. What are you expecting God to do in 2024? What are you going to do to position yourself for Him to do it? It's time to stop praying alone. You can pray as if it depends on God, but then you gotta work as if it depends on you. Watch God do the supernatural. So that's my question for you tonight. Ponder. What are you expecting God to do for you in 2024? And what's your plan to position yourself to do it? All right, everybody. That's it. I want to thank you for joining me tonight, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the near future. Again, if you want to get the free book, Maximizing Your Life, you can get it right at this TonyGilmore3.com. And listen, if you want to keep up with the things that are going in the ministry and different things, you can go in and subscribe and you can get on our email list. Other than that, have an amazing, amazing week. Have an incredible new year, and I will see you soon. God bless.